Everyone, and welcome to another edition of Fandom News Now. I'm Zach Arnold, and I'm very excited to be presenting to you tonight's Fandom Empire exclusive content. I apologize for the delay. There were some technical difficulties and some personal issues that were being tended to on both the producers and the hosts' end, but we do have some very interesting content to discuss nonetheless. On tap tonight includes the likes of Justice League news, some casting announcements for various programs and movies, as well as an extensive update on movies that have been delayed and movies that may not even be happening in 2021. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, starting with some of the newest tidbits from Zack Snyder's The Justice League. As you all have been closely following on Twitter, no doubt, there have been a lot of updates and even a couple of spoilers that have been leaking onto the internet. That's no surprise. That happens on the internet all the time. But one of the biggest contributions that was made from Warner Media was a 50-second teaser trailer looking at Darkseid himself. That's right. The big bad villain that was noticeably absent from the Joss Whedon Justice League film actually makes his first appearance on the screen on our phone screens. There is a quote on there that talks about how I have turned 100,000 worlds to dust. And it seems very reminiscent of some of the stuff that we got from maybe Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now we get to see a DC equivalent on the big screen or on your home screens, depending on how you're going to be doing it. I have some friends that have an 80-inch flat screen that are looking at doing a watch party when the Snyder Cut finally releases a week from now. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. And if you don't have HBO Max, now is the time to subscribe. Following with some of the other trends regarding the things from the Justice League universe, there were actually some reports that happened over the course of this week that the Snyder Cut actually made its way onto HBO Max early via a communication issue that happened when viewers tried to hit play on the Tom and Jerry movie. There were a select few who reported that they actually ended up seeing the Snyder Cut when they opted to hit play on the Tom and Jerry film that was also on HBO's streaming service. Of course, HBO says that they were able to contain it and that they had only a few people that reported this. However, if you go deep enough into the internet, there are people who are posting spoilers and screenshots from well over an hour into the film. So this is a little concerning as far as releasing movies directly onto a streaming platform. Who knows what other type of communication complications may arise. But I also am a little envious of the people that got to see some of the Snyder Cut a little early before HBO was able to try and find a way to bring it back down. More on Tom and Jerry in just a little bit. We're going to go to the chat for just a second here as Darth Baca said, here we go. Yes, we are finally here. Thank you all for your patience. Kieran, thank you for being on standby in the chat. Kind of looking forward to Zack Snyder's Justice League now, or was not before, but that Darkseid teaser, wow. Yeah, I'm with you, Kenny. I'm very much with you that there were some things I was on the fence about, but after seeing that teaser, and even after seeing the We Live in a Society teaser, I really was not expecting to see Jared Leto's Joker return, and so the fact that we do have that was a surprise, but I think time will tell whether that was a pleasant surprise or not. We are going to have an extended question and answer time towards the end of the program, so if you have any questions that you would like to be discussed here on the show, be sure to send us a chat, send us a super chat here in the live feed so that we may get to them when the time comes. Chat mods, if you'd be able to assist me in pointing those out in case I slip by anything, it's always greatly appreciated. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Going to the Star Wars universe now, there has been official confirmation that a Mandalorian visual guide and original novel have both been canceled. DK Books first tweeted, "Due to the ever-expanding world of The Mandalorian, we will no longer be publishing The Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide at this time, as the story continues to unfold on screen." Not long after this tweet was posted, a similar one was also posted by the fellows over at Del Rey Publishing. So we've got a little consistency across the board here that The Mandalorian's not done. So this edition of the visual guide seems a little premature in their minds. Those of you who have read the Clone Wars visual dictionary can attest that sometimes jumping the gun on a visual guide like that can be premature and can actually be harmful to the program rather than helpful. So only time will tell, but we have gotten official confirmation that not only is the visual guide not happening, but also the original novel set in the Mandalorian timeline and the Mandalorian portion of the Star Wars universe has also been canceled. Not postponed, it has been canceled. Now, while the visual guide makes sense, I am a little curious as to what happened to the novel. There were not a whole lot of details revealed. There is a lot of speculation on social media places like Facebook and Twitter, but nothing has been confirmed as of right now. It may have to do with certain characters no longer being a part of the Mandalorian storyline and those books now being scrapped because of the integral role that those characters were playing. Nobody knows for certain. Kenny says, totally understand why, and so do I. A reminder to send us those questions so that we may answer them later on. Continuing with some somewhat Star Wars-related news, we have gotten information that there's going to be a surprising re-release of James Cameron's Avatar in China. China is set to do a re-release of the famous movie that sat #1 in the box office for a very long time until it was recently dethroned by Star Wars and Avengers Endgame, most notably. And should Endgame not have another re-release, but Avatar does, the movie only needs $7.4 million at the box office to be able to reclaim its #1 all-time spot. 7.4 million sounds very, very attainable at this point, although, as you may see in certain box office results that we're going to be talking about later on in the program, it can also be very difficult to obtain due to the COVID-19 pandemic not being situated just yet. Talking about some casting news now, we got official confirmation on who our 3 live-action Powerpuff Girls are going to be. Those of you who grew up in the 90s definitely remember watching that show and seeing the adventures of Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. And we have gotten official confirmation as to who will be portraying them. And if you take a look at some of the photos that have been posted on Twitter, particularly on the Twitter page Discussing Film, they posted 3 photos side by side of the 3 actresses who are supposed to play them. And it feels fairly spot on just looking at it at face value. Dove Cameron and Yana Peralt are going to be Bubbles and Buttercup, and the top billing name, Miss Blossom, is going to be played by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. alumna, none other than Chloe Bennett. She just recently wrapped filming on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not too long ago, with the series finale happening last year, I believe, and all she did was tweet one tweet with 3 pink flowers confirming her role as Blossom in the new live-action Powerpuff Girls series. Production is set to begin soon, and the series premiere is set to come out not too far away from after that. Talking about some television show confirmations, we also got confirmation as of today, March 11th, that Season 3 is a go for Universal Studios and Amblin Entertainment's Netflix original series, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. This is a personal favorite of mine. If anybody of you have seen Camp Cretaceous, it is definitely worth the wait and definitely worth the watch. 2 seasons have been finished, and we have gotten official confirmation that Season 3 is set for May 21st. The first season debuted in October of last year, with the 2nd season coming out in January. So they are pumping these seasons out very quickly, being able to work remotely, animate them at the different animators' homes, and be able to submit them into a collaboration drive, apparently. the voice actors do their work from home and send their materials in. It gets edited and piecemealed together and then gets distributed on a streaming service like Netflix. So this is an innovation that is definitely interesting for quarantining purposes. It shows that a show can be successful and can be pumped out regularly, even in the midst of a pandemic. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous dropped off on a cliffhanger, revealing that Project E750 was accidentally released from its cryo-freeze. It is believed that this particular dinosaur is one that has never been seen before, and according to certain toy leaks that happened over the course of the past week, its name is believed to be the Scorpio Rex. We will see if that comes to fruition in May. Going to some more jovial-related news, there has been some reports from comicbook.com that Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, is getting ready to celebrate his 90th birthday in a very special way. There is a way to experience the bridge of the original USS Enterprise in Ticonderoga, New York. According to comicbook.com, the exhibit is famed among fans for its replica of the bridge set where Shatner gave orders as Captain James T. Kirk in Star Trek The Original Series. He will be hosting a 2-day event that begins on July 23rd, even though his actual birthday is this month, March. He is hoping that some of the COVID restrictions will be lifted by that point, and there will be guests that can experience a $1,500 all-inclusive package that will let fans participate in his 90th birthday dinner celebration, take a set tour with him, plus a bridge chat, a photo, and an autograph. So if you're interested in getting an exclusive for William Shatner's 90th birthday, be sure to be in Ticonderoga, New York around that time. A happy birthday to the legend himself. He is celebrating his 90th birthday this month, and we are still very blessed to have him around with us, continuing the Star Trek legacy. Talking about Disney now for just a little bit, Disney Plus announced that they have officially surpassed 100 million worldwide subscribers. You heard that right. They are already into 100 million plus territory since being out for about a year now, just over a year. Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, said, in fact, we set a target for 100 plus new titles per year, and this includes Disney Animation, Disney Live Action, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic. Our direct-to-consumer business is the company's top priority, and our robust pipeline of content will continue to fuel its growth. Based on these numbers, there are certain statistics professionals that are projecting Disney Plus will surpass Netflix for subscription numbers by the year 2024. Matt Whitfield says, I seriously can't believe Shatner is 90. Wow. You and me both, man. I cannot believe how young he looks. He does not look 90. He keeps himself in excellent condition, and it definitely shows. Kenny says, Powerpuff Girls live action sets will give it a try now that Chloe Bennett is in the series. At least watch the first episode. Love the animated series as a kid growing up in the mid-90s. Just for clarification, Kenny, they're not to 1 billion yet. 1 billion is quite a lot of subscribers, but who knows? They may get there eventually. They have just surpassed 100 million. And one of the things that they are trying to do over at Disney Plus is this premium subscription content. They attempted to bring in some finances that way during the COVID-19 pandemic by releasing Mulan that way. And according to reports, it did not go quite the way that they had hoped for, but they persisted with this option nonetheless by doing a simultaneous release into theaters and to Disney Plus premium content, or whatever you want to call it, for Raya and the Last Dragon, starring Kelly Marie Tran. According to the box office numbers, Raya and the Last Dragon did not do so well at the box office. although that can be a rather subjective terminology considering the circumstances. But according to Box Office Mojo, they only brought in $8.6 million at their opening. By contrast, the Tom and Jerry movie was able to bring in $11.6 million in its opening weekend. Although it should be noted that Tom and Jerry was distributed to more theaters than Raya and the Last Dragon was. So proportionately, it's theoretical that Raya actually brought in more money if it had been distributed to the same number of locations, but it was not. So it's all about statistics, it's all about proportions in this case, but 8.6 and 11.6 are not very encouraging numbers for movie theaters that are trying to figure out how they're going to release films like Halloween Kills, how they're going to release films like Black Widow, which is set to be exclusively in theaters this fall. And then if anybody's been keeping up with politics lately, President Joe Biden has said that he hopes to have better circumstances by the 4th of July once the vaccination rollout hits its more deliberate stages. Right now, they're taking care of the elderly and the infirmed, rightfully so. My grandmother just got her first vaccination yesterday, so the process is going well in the States. I hear it is not going quite so well in Canada, so this should be interesting as we try and approach the summer slate of movies and the fall and beyond. More on that in just a little bit. Going back to the Star Wars universe for just a moment, this was an interview with Collider that happened not too long ago. There have been a lot of speculations about who might play Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Ahsoka series or the Mandalorian series. The name was dropped during the most recent season of The Mandalorian, sending fans into a frenzy, helping us realize that he will be making an appearance in the live-action format after first appearing in the official canon in the TV show Star Wars Rebels. The fan casting choices have been all over the place, particularly with Lars Mikkelsen being one of the leading candidates, the man who voices him on Star Wars Rebels. But the other popular choice is one Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch. He was actually approached about this during an interview with Collider, in which he said he would not be interested in doing that at this time. On the topic of Grand Admiral Thrawn, he said, "That's a straight no from me. There's no way I want to be turned blue." Sounds pretty logical to me. The current MCU star is set to release Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness about a year from now, on March 5th of 2022. We are approaching our Q&A segment of the program. If you are interested in sending questions or super chats regarding anything you've heard about tonight, or if you have other questions related to other pieces of news that we may have missed out on, then please go ahead and send those to us now. We were able to obtain an article that talks about movies that are slated to come out here in 2021, as well as movies that have been delayed to 2022. We'll talk about the ones that have been delayed first and foremost, since they are at the top of the article that we obtained. Ambulance has been moved to February 18th of 2022. Marry Me, February 11th of 22. Minions: The Rise of Gru, summer of next year, July 1st, 2022. Morbius, January 21st of 22 is now its expected release date. Uncharted has been moved to February 11th as well. And an untitled Elvis Presley biopic has been moved to summer of next year, slated for June 3rd of 2022 now. We move through the January and February into March to take a look at things that are expected now. Obviously, the big one for March is the 18th, when Zack Snyder's Justice League releases on HBO Max. The 19th, the day after that, you can expect The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent to debut. And the following week, you will get Nobody and 6 Minutes to Midnight on the 26th. Godzilla vs. Kong will go to theaters on the 31st and will also be debuting on HBO Max. In the theaters for April, some of the highlights that you can expect to see will be Voyagers on April the 9th, Mortal Kombat on April the 16th, also going to HBO Max simultaneously. In addition to movies like Fatherhood and Monday, they will be available on the 16th, and Here Are the Young Men will be available on VOD on the 30th. Black Widow is slated to come out May the 7th now of 2021, although depending on how much the rollout is progressing, we will see if that continues. Free Guy is slated for summer of this year on May 21st, and we can also be expecting Cruella on May the 28th, in addition to Infinite. Monday, May 31st, is the projected date for Quiet Place Part 2. But again, that is all still what the projected dates are. This is no guarantee. Moving into the month of June, we can expect Spirit Untamed, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, also going to HBO Max at the same time, on June the 4th. Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway for June 11th. In the Heights on HBO Max and in theaters, and Disney Pixar's Luca are set to come out on June the 18th. Fast and Furious 9 and Venom, Let There Be Carnage are set for June the 25th. And to kick off the month of July, Friday the 2nd, 4th of July weekend, we can expect to see Top Gun Maverick. July the 9th, the following week, we're going to be looking at Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, in addition to The Forever Purge. Friday, July 16th is one that I've got marked on my calendar. That's when we get Space Jam 2, A New Legacy, coming to movie theaters and HBO Max simultaneously. We're also going to be expecting The Green Knight and Jungle Cruise on July the 30th. Hotel Transylvania 4 kicks off the August slate on the 6th, in addition to The Suicide Squad. That is currently projected to be an August 6th release. The 13th, we'll be getting the likes of Don't Breathe 2, Respect, Bios, and Deep Water, all coming to movie theaters. We're also going to be looking for The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, The King's Man, and for those of you with young ones, the Paw Patrol movie is expected August the 20th. Friday, August 27th, The Beatles Get Back and Candyman helps round out the month of August. As we approach the fall slate, we're getting close to rounding out our time here on the program. So send in your Q&A now as we get ready to close things off for the evening. Friday, September the 3rd, Reminiscence, also going to HBO Max. But in theaters, you can expect to see Jackass 4 and Resident Evil. Friday, September 17th, The Boss Baby, Family Business. Death on the Nile, which is one that I also have circled on my list. And The Man from Toronto. Those are all set for September the 17th. The 24th, we can be looking for Dear Evan Hansen, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and The Many Saints of Newark. For a lot of you here on Fandom Empire, you have been circling the month of October for a while now, greatly anticipating Halloween Kills. But before we get to that, we're also going to be getting Dune coming to theaters on October the 1st and coming to HBO Max simultaneously. Friday, October the 8th, we'll be seeing No Time to Die and The Addams Family 2. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for, October 15th, The Last Duel and Universal and Blumhouse's Halloween Kills. There has been no announcement, there has been no speculation that that movie is going to be delayed or has any reason to be delayed, so we will keep our eyes open for that. October 29th has a movie called Antlers coming to theaters, but we will see if that still comes to pass. November is going to be a very interesting month as we get close to the end of 2021. That's still a long ways off to look for. I'll be nearing graduation by the time that comes around. But on November the 5th, V for Vendetta Day, Guy Fawkes Day, we can expect to see The Eternals, in addition to Clifford the Big Red Dog. Thursday, November 11th is expected to show us Ghostbusters Afterlife, although I believe that movie may have been delayed, so this article may not be entirely up to date. November 19th is expected to have Mission Impossible 7 and King Richard, which is also going to HBO Max. Thanksgiving Weekend, Encanto, and House of Gucci. Finally, moving into December, on the 3rd, we currently have Nightmare Alley. A remake of West Side Story is set to come out December 10th. An untitled Sony Marvel Spider-Man sequel, Spider-Man 3, is slated for December 17th. That actually has been given a title. We just saw that not too long ago. It makes me think this article is slightly less up to date than I originally projected. But Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be on the 17th. The Matrix 4, Nightingale, and Sing 2 are the final movies that Discussing Film says are slated to come out in December of 2021. But again, given the COVID-19 situation, none of this seems 100% set in stone. So all of this is still TBD, if you will, but that is what they are expected to be and where they are expected to be over the course of this 2021 movie season. Last call, very, very last call for Q&A segments. I want to hear you guys' thoughts, most importantly, on the movies that have not been delayed. Films like Black Widow, Jungle Cruise, Halloween Kills. Obviously, the Phantom Empire Network is super into Halloween Kills. So with the exception of Halloween Kills, which film are you most looking forward to? I'm really curious about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Don't really know much about it, so I'll be going into it kind of blind. I'm also really looking forward to Kong versus Godzilla. I don't know why. I didn't really resonate a whole lot with any of the Godzilla films, and I only watched Skull Island once or twice. But for some reason, I think we all just need a little explosion and a little city destruction to distract our minds from what's going on around us. So I'm also looking forward to the Snyder Cut and the watch party that's going to ensue after that. Should also be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that my producer Sean is back with me as we get ready to wrap things up for the evening. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this week's edition of Fandom News Now. Remember to follow Fandom Empire on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and so much more. We've got shows about Star Wars. We got shows about Rick and Morty. There's the primary Fandom Empire show that just happened before this one. And we've got a Supernatural show and a Game of Thrones show in the works. Only film I'm looking forward to is Halloween Kills, said Solid Saturn. Darth Bacchus says Godzilla vs. Kong. All right, you guys, thank you so much for sending us the stuff you're looking forward to. That gives us an idea of what we need to review here on the channel. And over on my other podcast, the Intergalactic Peace Coalition, go find them at IPC Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can go find me on Facebook and Twitter at Zach the Voice, and then at Zach.thevoice on Instagram. I think that's all that we've got for tonight. Toronto Freddy says, I'm really looking forward to Black Widow. And you know what? I'm a little more on the fence about that one than some of the others, but still going to be looking forward to seeing it whenever it does release. All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Fandom News Now. Hope that you all tune in next week. Thank you for being a part of this week's action. But for now, I'm Zach Arnold, and that's Fandom News to me.